Joining us now, Dr. Mehmet Oz, the administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Doctor, it is good to see you, and welcome. It's so tough to try to navigate through these challenges, and I don't envy the job you're trying to do. So, by definition, we think that some government programs are wasteful. There's no doubt about it. At the same time, nobody likes to hear that something's not going to be covered or that authorizations are going to be tightened up. How do you walk the fine line? And you're trying to do it right now with Medicare. We've all heard AI is going to help us do all these different things, but when you try to use AI to maybe get rid of some unnecessary procedures, you're immediately going to hear people crying that it's unfair and we don't need this, and that's what you're going through right now.
Joe, the challenge is worth it. Think about prior authorization, which is the large category you're speaking about, as a tool. When done correctly, it's incredibly helpful. You have a hammer, which is a tool, you can build a house with it, but you can do damage with it as well. And when prior authorization first started being used within Medicare and Medicaid, that was 60 years ago. By the way, the program is 60 years old this month. So, it's got a long and wonderful history of helping Americans achieve their best health. And that's really the goal here. It's not just an insurance card, but to allow you to flourish, to thrive with the best health possible. You can't be a wealthy nation without being a healthy nation. But we need to make sure that the money is spent in the right places. So when you go to a checkout counter, you put your debit card in, you immediately are told whether you have money in the bank so that the vendor knows that they're getting paid and that you can actually pay for it. We need something equivalent to that with prior authorization. That's not what's happening now. For private insurance companies and for Medicare Advantage, oftentimes these programs are used as weapons to deprive care. It's done for a variety of reasons, but if we could make it work the way it's supposed to work, to allow us to adjudicate for sure that you're getting the right care in the right place, you're not having some unscrupulous individual doing an unnecessary procedure or giving you an unneeded medication, that's a helpful thing for the system. We think it could actually be about $100 billion of benefit to the American people, to the taxpayer, if we can use these services appropriately. So the president used the power to convene, as he often does. He realizes you can be nimble if you can get industry to start doing the right thing. So he asked us to pull together the insurance companies in America. We got about roughly 80% of the people in America's insurance companies now pledging to do something with prior authorization. They announced it at HHS headquarters with Secretary Kennedy and myself. We had members of Congress there, and they have vowed, by the end of this calendar year, they will reduce the number of procedures for which prior authorization is required, only the ones that are most important. They're going to be very clear on what the criteria are for getting these procedures or these medications. And by next year, they'll do it digitally. So just like that debit card goes in and tells you immediately, not in 2 weeks, right that moment, whether you have money to buy that cappuccino, we'll be able to do the same thing for the American people.
Well, it's going to be demagogued. It already is. I'm reading it already. We don't need a duplicative process. It's just going to result in less care being given to people that need it, and which brings us to Medicaid. We just had Leader Jeffries on. I mean, the way Democrats talk about what was in that bill and the way Republicans talk about it, it almost seems like you're in a parallel or a different universe. They think Medicaid is being absolutely gutted. I mean, how do you respond to that? You need work requirements. Is the spending still going up over the next 10 years? Is it not, by trillions of dollars?
Joe, we're going to spend $200 billion more on Medicaid.
$200 billion, okay.
$200 billion more on Medicaid. And we have a program that had grown the Medicaid program 50% in its size in the last 5 years. So it's reprehensible to criticize the president on this, I think, very earnest effort to save Medicaid, to allow it to provide care to our most vulnerable. But you cannot use it in ways it was not designed. 60 years ago, when Medicaid was created, it was very clear it was supposed to be used for those at the dawn of their life, as Hubert Humphrey said, the children, those at the twilight of their life, the elderly, and those who were living in the shadows, the disabled. Those are the folks it was designed for. So every Democratic president and every Republican president has said that the backbone of a social support fabric has to be work. You want people to actually get out of their homes and go do things. An able-bodied person on Medicaid today watches about 6.1 hours of television or just hangs out leisure time. This is data that is well replicated. That's a lot of time. No one's going to be happy sitting at home 6.1 hours a day doing nothing. Your desire to go out and do something to change the world is given to you by God the moment you're born. We want people to go out there and live their fullest lives. So asking people to go out and either volunteer at a position, get educated, get engaged with your community, or go get a job, and we're going to help you do that. We already have 2 trials ongoing with technology solutions to allow us to pretty quickly adjudicate whether you've tried to work. If you have not had a job, we can try to connect you with the state employment offices. We can adjudicate whether you're trying to volunteer or get educated. Just go out and change the world. This is something everyone should be rooting for. I don't understand how you could possibly say that's a bad thing for America, for us not to want to get people to be wealthy, to go out there and change their own lives for the better.
It seems to be real concern about rural hospitals. Can you allay some of those fears, Doctor, and the effect? What is the fear, and how do you counter, how do you tell people it's going to be okay?
Well, the quality of the care you're getting in health care, especially, but the dignity you have is oftentimes driven, unfortunately, by the zip code you live in. So about 7% of the Medicaid dollars we spoke of go to rural health care. It's about $20 billion a year. The president and Congress have very wisely said we're going to put $10 billion more a year into this program for the next 5 years. So 50% increased spending in rural health care, and they've created a rural health transformation fund that the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services is going to administer.
Okay.
The money is going to be given with grants, which are being requested within the next month. By the end of this calendar year, we're going to put money into the rural healthcare system to make sure that it works better for everybody. Better manpower, right-sizing the system, and bringing IT into the program. We need technology.
I'm glad you know how TV works, because you wrapped just in time, Doctor. Yeah, we got to get out. Thank you. Dr. Oz, Squawk on the Street.